Salutations and hallucinations, steamed offenders. Back again finally. Like I said, had this big auction deal going on. I've been just buried and swamped, and whatever euphemism you wish to use, I have been there. I've been busier than a one-armed paper hanger, and I'm just about wore out. But I got you a quick one today. This is the Griffin tank. Now this is a very good tank, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to go doing a full in-depth. To be perfectly honest, if you want to see this tank in depth, go back to the last one I just did on the Gemini tank. The Gemini and the Griffin, this version of the Griffin, are almost just totally and completely identical. The only difference is the Gemini is going to have an adjustable airflow at the top as well as the bottom, which allows to pull more air through the chimney. Now what this gives is more airflow than the Gemini. So you will get a little bit more air in there, and it also means you're going to get a little bit more flavor as you crank that power up to take advantage of that extra air. So is it a better tank? Just a little bit. They're about the same amount of money. If I'm not mistaken, Griffin is going to now start coming out with a cap basically the same thing, because the Gemini, if I were to take a guess, I'd say the Gemini is a clone, as a type of a one-off clone of the Griffin tank. Just they added the extra airflow. I don't know that, so I'm not saying one is a clone of the other, simply saying that they are, as far as size and functionality, looks, everything, they're identical. They really are, except the Gemini does have the top flow. Now these are great tanks. They don't hold much. You're looking, I think, 3.5 milliliters of juice, which isn't a tremendous amount of fluid. The VCMT, the monster, at 30 millimeters, I mean, yeah, it's a 30 millimeter diameter tank. It's about yay tall. 10 milliliters of juice fits in that monster. Got it, going to be doing. That's going to be my next tank up on the review, is going to be the VCMT. Dear God. Now, the Gemini and the Griffin both are velocity style. I believe the Gemini does have a center post that comes up. I'm not sure why the Griffin does not. Doesn't really affect anything, but it's there. Don't ask me why they did it. I have no idea. Now, as you've doubtless heard, these are really good tanks. I just got through rebuilding this one. These are my standard. These are my coils, which means they're going to be 28 gauge, N80, nichrome, 28 gauge again, twisted. These are, I took 28 gauge, twisted into made dual coils here, 5 wraps. I believe these are 2 millimeter. Comes out to roughly 0.2 ohms, 0.2 ohms. And I generally run these at 60. I don't get below 60 to 70 watts in there. Kind of depends on the flavor. If you're looking for a smaller tank that's kind of a little on the tiny side, it's not real just in the way, these little tanks are really great. They don't hold as much as, say, the MD RDTA from Indulgence that I have. It doesn't hold the 5, but it's only 3. It's 3.5 versus 5. So it's, you know, it's a milliliter and a half. So it's not like it's a ginormous difference. These are a little bit smaller tanks. They're not quite as big and bulky. Don't take up as much room. They're pretty doggone good tanks. Now, if you're looking for something you want to spend, get about 30 bucks. Hey, you're not going to go wrong with either one of these. I would take the Gemini over the Griffin for the simple reason that it does have adjustable airflow also at the top. Did have somebody actually tell me, I don't like it because it has too much air. That's why it's called adjustable airflow. You turn that down. Never heard that on a tank before. It has too much air. That's why it's called adjustable, baby. Just cut it down a little bit. It'd be all right. Oh yeah. So if you want a good tank for 25, 30 bucks, these are damn good tanks. I highly recommend them. They're small. They're lightweight. They're very tiny. Nowhere near as large as, say, a VCMT, which hangs off of every friggin' thing. Some people that's going to drive nuts. Some people like me, I don't let my OCD control me. So I just ignore. I force myself to ignore it and get used to it. Outstanding flavor though. It really does. These things are very, very comparable to my in my mutation tank, my Indulgence. Very comparable. Not quite there. So if I were to choose, I would still take the MD-RTA. I would take the Gemini over the Griffin just because of the extra airflow at the top. But either way you're looking at a great tank. You're not going to be disappointed in a great little tank. It's going to give you a good bang for your buck. Velocity style deck. You got adjustable airflow. They both use the same, which is basically, I think they call it a baby chuff. It's not quite the big full-size chuff tip, but it is considerably larger than standard. And they both come with an adapter so that you can add a smaller 510 if you, for some reason, want to. Again, that's part of the adjustability. You can actually play that out if you want a little bit less airflow. Put your adapter in there and stick a 510 in. I don't believe the Griffin came with an actual 510 drip, whereas the Gemini actually came with a 510. It came with a 510 adapter and a 510 drip tip to go with it, which is pretty nice. And of course you get your obligatory extra O-rings, you get your couple extra screws, your little screwdriver, you get, what else? You get a couple of coils, pre-made coils that are tossed in there for you, and you get an adapter. The Gemini does come with with the 510 drip tip as well as the 510 adapter, whereas this one just comes with the tip, unless they change it up. Now there is a little ring in there. I told you this also with the Gemini. There's a ring that fits down. You put your cotton in, put the ring over that, and it screws down. Then your chimney screws on the top of that. That little ring isn't needed. If you don't want it in there, it's a pain in the ass. If you don't feel like dicking with it, put it aside. I've tried them side by side with and without, and honestly I can't tell if they're in there or not. They just don't seem to do anything really. What they're mainly for is, it appears, is to hold your cotton down so that when you're turning this, it doesn't allow the cotton to be popped up out of the juice canals, which I haven't had a problem with that. And once I open mine up wide open, get it screwed down and leave it, I don't do anything with it. I don't change anything. Now make sure that you do get enough cotton to close the wells off, because if you don't, they will leak. They're both about equal in that. They're both identical tanks. There's almost zero difference in between them except for the adjustable airflow on the top of the Gemini. That's it. Other than that, they're so damn identical that probably, I hadn't tried it, but I wouldn't be surprised if the parts were interchangeable. I really wouldn't be surprised a bit. But yeah, you want a great tank. The Gemini and the Griffin. This is the Griffin here in black. Beautiful tank. Great workmanship. The paint has not chipped off. I wish I could say that for my Indulgence tank. The RDTA from Indulgence, yeah, that black paint's coming off it like a bad. It's just, it's terrible. Their black paint sucks. Hopefully they fix that on the new one. All right, I'm out of here. I'm gonna come back here shortly, and I'm gonna try to get some more punched out this week. Girlfriend's having surgery, so I'm gonna be gone a bit here and there, so it's gonna be kind of hard. But I'm gonna try to get a punch out a couple of more today and tomorrow to get some of this done, so I can get caught back up. Thank you for being patient. And as always, much love and peas, and some of that there corn bread.